my cluttered garage. I'm really glad you're here. A place where we can laugh and talk and days are filled with cheer. The clouds and sun may come and go, but one thing's always clear. Welcome back, my friend. You know I'm really glad you're here. Yeah.
Hey, welcome back, my friends. We made it. It's live stream number 125. It's July 17th, 2023, and I am streaming live from the farm, and I'm using cellular service. So, no, we don't have internet here yet. Tomorrow, though, we've got Comcast gigabit internet on its way. We'll see how that works. I don't have internet that fast at the house, but since this is a new customer here, we can get the new customer discount for 3 years trying gigabit internet, and we'll see how that works. Now, of course, that's going to be in the house, so we'll see if we can run any Wi-Fi out here near the barn or whatnot. But anyway, I'm glad this is working. Hey, there's Chris and Bob and Brock there, Rock Hill, and David from RCA Polar Express. Dennis, good to see you. BT Handy, and Tractor Talk with Gary made it. Good to see you, Gary. I know you're always busy. And Edward, so many folks are here. And there's Brad from Piney Grove. Good to see you, Brad. You can hear the birds, right? I've got birds back here. Somebody's cutting hay at the farm across the street there. You can hear that. It sounds like a lawnmower running too. Anyway, so I guess this is working okay. I've got 2 bars of cell service here. So hello, Margaret. Hey, Phil. Good to see you. So anyway, here's why we're here. Well, we're here because this is where we are now. You know, you need the big news that we bought this place. Hello, Phil and Lucinda, if you're watching as well. Hi, Linda. So we bought the place. And in order to do that, we have to sell our house. And right now, there are people looking at our house. So we had to go away. You know how that works. You got to get out of the house so that they can look at it and not have people looking over their shoulder or anything. So that would be kind of awkward. So yeah, we had to leave the house. And I said, well, then I'll try and live stream here with just my phone. And I walked around the property a little bit, and I found this spot here between the house and the barn. And again, 2 bars. I thought, I think I can do it with 2 bars. We could walk around a little bit too, because this is not going to be any type of what's it called, rehearsed or practiced live stream. I got nothing for you other than we're going to chat, look at comments tonight, and maybe we'll take a little walk and talk. That might be kind of fun to do, and see if we don't lose any cell service. So yeah, so that's that. As far as the house goes, it may move quickly. It may move really, really quickly. We put it up on the market Tuesday. It went officially online, but no showings until after the open house, which was this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Had a ton of people at the open house, from what I hear, because again, can't be there, can't be in your own house because that would be awkward. But realtor said there were like 40 people each day, Saturday and Sunday. And Sunday was a washout, and people still showed up. So, great turnout. We've already got offers we're looking at. I mean, offers came in Sunday night. So, this could move quickly, and that's what we're hoping for, because we want all this to just, so far the timing has been amazing here with this whole transaction between meeting the former owners and forming that relationship with them, which is just absolutely outstanding and kind of scary when things fall into place. You know, I've had enough things in life that have fallen apart, and when they come together, you're like, well, I don't know, this is a little scary. So you saw that big news. We got other big things happening this summer. I mean, really big things happening, and I don't want to keep you, I don't want to be evasive on this like I was, or elusive with the other news, but you know what? There are things happening that I'm going to tell you about. I just can't talk about it now. Sorry for touching my face. But So yeah, I mean, life right now is just full of big things, and the good thing is we're healthy, and that's what I keep going back to. Is it's very emotional saying goodbye to the old homestead. Again, if you've been following along, my great grandparents bought that property in 1923. That's 100 years ago. This is the 100th anniversary of my family owning that land. Now, granted, we're only on 4 acres, but they moved here. They bought 13, big farm, but still, they bought 13, and we're on the remaining 4 acres of that property that was bought 100 years ago by my great grandparents. Then my parents built the house in 1958, so 65 years ago. So a lot of emotion in saying goodbye to that. And I haven't cried yet. I'm an emotional guy, but got choked up a few times, but I'm trying to be positive. Like, this is all exciting and new, and you got to take the next step. And again, we're healthy, so that's the thing. This is, I could be saying my goodbyes permanently, not to be morbid here or morose, but we're moving to a new chapter, maybe a new book. I don't know how that works. Anyway, so things are moving quickly there, and that's good. That's good, and you have to just, I guess, take some chances. I'm not really one to be talking about that because, as I said in the video, Ann's the one who is the risk taker, and I'm the one who's a little more measured and a little more cautious. And we're a good combination that way, even though sometimes we kind of butt heads on things because I think I'm the one who's reasonable, and I think things through. Where she's so spontaneous, and so many times she's right though. Because if it wasn't for Ann, I wouldn't be where I am because of risks that I would not have taken. So again, she lifts me up, and I ground her sometimes that way. But question from Brad there at the Piney Grove. What's the first major thing? I could put that up there. What is the first major thing you were buying for the new place? And I'm not talking about a new sofa. Well, I don't plan on buying anything. Maybe you're talking about equipment, Brad. Like, I'd love to have a mini X like you have. Could certainly use it back here in the woods. We're going to be cutting trails back here. There's 30 acres of woods back here, and it's a nice square piece. It's not flat, so it's not like you could just go anywhere you want. It's incredibly hilly, especially for this part of southern New Jersey where it tends to be rolling hills or flat. This is like a 75-foot drop down to the creek, and it's really interesting. You walk back there and you're like, I'm in a different state. I don't know where I am. But there are flat areas, and we do want to clear some trails. In fact, I did the other day where there was just some undergrowth. I just took the lawn tractor because it was low enough, and I thought I could just drive in there. And I just drove in there with the deck all the way up. Hey, Jack. And drove through there. So Jack says, new tractor. Yeah, we could use a bigger tractor. I could have used a bigger tractor on the 4 acres. I would like a bigger tractor with more PTO horsepower for running that wood chipper. I would like a backhoe. Yeah, could definitely use a bigger one. But and the Mini X, Brad, you're right. A lot of people have said don't even bother with a backhoe, just get a Mini X. But it's all money. It's all expensive. So Chev Head Ed has been cutting down trails yourself. A lot of work. It is indeed. Linda needs to find a new place for the apiary this week. That's good. We're going to be getting some bees here. She's going to move them from the old house to here. So we need to find a nice spot there. We're going to be clearing a lot of there's a small meadow here. You saw it in the video where Ann mowed the meadow. And I said it was 2 acres. It's closer to 3. It's like, I calculated it with Google Maps, and you can drop pins and measure. And it's about 2.81 acres. But through the years, the forest and the trees have encroached on the land, and when you mow, you mow up to the tree, or up to the brush, but as it grows out, you're mowing closer and closer to the middle of the field. We want to clear that back, and we want to reclaim some of that meadow because it's so pretty, and the woods is kind of flat there. So we do want to reclaim some of that. The bulk of the woods, though, is so established years and years where it's been virtually untouched. So there's mature trees back there, really beautiful. So lots to do there. First thing I'm going to buy, I don't know. Sorry, Hachi was just squealing. I don't know why. Yeah, so we've got work to do to the house. We have ideas that we want to do here. We're not sure exactly what. We just want to kind of try and just live in it and get a feel for it before we do any major changes. It's a little old farmhouse, and get this, it's got one bedroom, and it's got one bathroom, and the bedroom's on the second floor, and the bathroom's on the first floor. And I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom now, and so that's kind of not convenient. So we talked about putting a bedroom addition on the first floor with a bathroom, because that's kind of important to have your space, your comfort space. The barn is unfinished on the inside. It's been built out for some living quarters, a shop. Um, it's got some drainage and plumbing in there that is sort of hooked up, but needs to be finished up. So we'd like to put maybe some guest quarters in the barn. The back of the barn has a nice lean-to addition on it, but it was never finished, so it's just plywood, and the rain splashes up. So the plywood's all rotten. It's got nice doors back there that have just rotted from nature. It happens. So we wanted to re-enclose that lean-to area. So much to do. Yeah. So I don't know what we're going to do first, honestly. Today we were talking about, let's start at the top, and work our way down. Because one idea we have is to put we'd like to put a shed dormer off the back of the attic. It's got a little tiny attic. Like, I can stand up right in the middle like that, but I can't really move side to side too much. The house is only 15 feet wide, I think, or something like that. So we thought if we put a shed dormer out one side, then at least I can, we could make it like a little room area. So lots of ideas there, and we just want to think it through and not be hasty, because sometimes ideas come to you afterward. Well, thank you for all the folks watching and for the likes. I missed my opportunity to say if it's your first time here, please say hi in the live chat. We'd love to welcome you. Let us know how you found the channel. Was it Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok? I put a video on TikTok, a little short. By the way, we do this every Monday, 7 to 8 p.m. I have a guest I want to talk about too. And if you would click that thumbs up, I like it when you do that. But I did a short the other day, and it was just a short version of the stone spreading. And I put that on YouTube, and some people watched it. I put it on TikTok, and it's got like 18,000 views, which is kind of a lot for some of my videos. Some of them, you put them on TikTok and they get 200 views. So that one for some reason caught, and that was kind of fun to do. So maybe you're watching because you saw some of the content on TikTok. I don't know. Let's look back at the comments though. Yeah. We're getting a couple trees removed at the end of this week, I think. And hopefully I'll be making a video of that. There is a big oak tree hanging over the barn. It's dying, and it's leaning toward the barn, so I can't take that down myself. Got somebody's going to do that. There's also a silver maple up right behind the house that's also not very healthy. It's kind of overgrown, and we'd like to get that one removed as well. You plant trees innocently, and then before you know it, they are oversized and getting sick and very costly to remove. So Totsy's birthday, Ross's mom. Well, happy birthday, Totsy. I didn't see that until just now. That is fun. One of our bestest fans is Totsy, for sure. Boy, I'm glad this is working. I almost canceled tonight thinking this isn't going to work, but I thought, let's give it a shot, because worst case would be that I'd be like Max Hoodroom and be all jittery, and then wouldn't work. Remember Max Headroom from the 80s? That was very futuristic. It was a lot of interesting editing. I mentioned a live stream guest. I'm going to announce this. I'm going to announce this now. It's like pretty confirmed. So I'm going to say we're going to have him on the live stream August 7th. I've been talking to, chatting with, emailing back and forth, corresponding with Robbie Wolf. Robbie Wolf, you would know his brother Mike Moore, not Mike Moore, Mike Wolf. You would know him more than Robbie because of American Pickers. Mike obviously was on American Pickers, or kind of was really the main star there. But Robbie has come in and also been part of that show. Robbie has his own business business of picking, and he has a shop, I think, in Ohio. And so I've been chatting with Robbie and asked if he would come join us and talk about picking, collecting, talk about the show a little bit. And he has agreed to do that. Did I not say American Pickers? I don't know what I said. But anyway, so if you look up Robbie or Rob Wolf, I think his handle on Instagram is Rob Wolf from American Pickers, and I think that's also on YouTube. But he's on TikTok, he's on Instagram. Look up Rob Wolf from American Pickers, and you'll see some of his content. We want to promote his content too, to get people watching what he's doing there. So I'm excited that he has agreed to talk to us, and we're looking at August 7th. So as of now, it is set up. Yes, Woodster, that's Mike's brother. How many times do we have what we think is junk, or what we think is valuable, turns out to be junk? I'm really interested to know, how can you tell? I mean, so many things that especially now that we're moving out of that house with 65 years worth of stuff. I found stuff in the rafters that's just old, and you're like, man, I've been saving this for a long time. I bet you it's worth something. And you look it up on eBay, and it's worth nothing. I feel kind of guilty about this, but I have a Hess truck from like the 1990s, still in the box, early 90s, maybe late 80s. Hess truck, still in the box, was up in the rafters of the basement. My youngest was always like, why don't you give me that truck? I'm like, because that Hess truck, that's going to be valuable. You can't play with that. That's going to be valuable. So this old Hess truck, sitting up there in the box, the cardboard box, has been there. And I pulled it down the other day, and the box is stained. And I thought, darn it, I should have just let the kid play with it, because it ain't worth nothing. And, you know, you save things, you think they're going to... Here's something, I think I told you about this before. Under the crawl space of that house, because remember, I grew up there. Under the crawl space of that house, and maybe we can ask Robbie about this, in 1976, my grandmother, who was wheelchair bound, she used to drink 7-Up all the time. That was her beverage of choice, 7-Up. 1976, they had these little green bottles that were bicentennial bottles. They had the Liberty Bell on them, 1776 to 1976, and there were green glass bottles. And in 1976, I was 8 years old. And I remember her saying to me, take these bottles, you go put them in the crawl space. They're going to be worth something someday. So little me, 8-year-old me, took these 4 green bicentennial 7-Up bottles and brought them down and opened up the crawl space, and I stuck them in the corner. And they had been in that corner until just this last summer, untouched. I looked them up on eBay, and they're not worth anything. They're not worth anything, honestly. I don't even know where they are right now. I think I took them out of the crawl space. I know I didn't throw them away. I don't think I did. But now maybe if they were Coke bottles, because Coca-Cola is really the collectible. But sorry, Nana, as we called her. Your 7-Up bottles from 1976 are not worth anything. Yeah, Margaret says Hess trucks are worthless even in the box. Yeah, how disappointing is that? See, I thought about wrapping it up and giving it as a gift, and I thought, well, that's mean. I wouldn't let you play with it when you were a kid. Now you're 23 years old and don't even want it anymore. So I'm just looking at some comments, though. Yeah, the bottles are worth just the memory. That's right, because what a memory to remember her specifically saying, you take these. Like, I remember the conversation like it was like right in front of me. You take these and you put them in that crawl space. And I listened. So that is a memory. And yeah, my sister and I found some things in the house that my great uncle made, and it's not really, he knitted things, it was pretty neat. Little old man would knit things. And then you look at it like, oh, Uncle Paul made this, but I don't really like it. It's not worth anything other than, like you said, the memory of it. So stuff is interesting. I read something the other day that there are 3 stages of life, and I think it's wanting things, buying things, and getting rid of things. That's kind of what it is. I'm at a point where I'm trying to really not save stuff. Oh, but this barn is full. I mean, we threw away 4 truckloads. We took 4 truckloads to the convenience center. That's the dump for most people. 4 truckloads, and still brought so much stuff to the barn. And now the house, once it sells, we've got to empty the main contents of the house. The stuff we brought is the stuff we don't really use. The stuff we do use is a lot, it's too. So that's interesting to me, that there are still collectible things out there, and you just have to know what to collect. So we're 22 minutes in tonight, and looking at comments, we're talking about, there's the B2601. I strategically sat here because I thought this was a nice background. The tractor in the background, there's that, there's the windy driveway. My right and my left are switched, but there it is. So what's disappointing? Oh, there's from Chris. I have a 1960s Coca-Cola wall clock whose movement started making an awful noise. Did some research, and $250, more than $250 to replace. The clock is barely worth more than that. Disappointing. Yeah. Well, maybe it's a memory for you, Chris. Maybe it was your great uncle's or something like that. But how do you know? How do you know what's ever worth anything? Yep. Don't know. So, should we take a little walk around? Try it? See what happens? Thank you for joining again. We've got a lot of people watching tonight. I just unplugged my battery, so I think I have enough battery power. And we'll walk around a little bit. I can't see my... StreamYard should have an app for this. I think it would be better if they did. But I'm just using the Safari browser on the phone. So I can't see things like phone signal and that kind of stuff. But, so here we are. There's the tractor. There's the barn. And what do you want to see? Let me know. Look what I did back here. I brought all my IBC totes, and I placed them back there in the corner. So they're kind of hidden back there. Over at the house, they were all out in the open and kind of ugly, but here they're tucked away. Right, Brock? Walking around. I see Josh from Stony Ridge walking around. He does it. I don't know what kind of internet he has there at the farm, but he's all over the place. He either has good cell coverage or something going on, but he live streams from the farm all the time, and he's got what, 70 acres, I think. We should reach out to Josh. He was a live stream guest one time, and we had a good conversation. He's done amazing things with that farm of his, just reclaiming it. I think it was an old tobacco farm, and it was just kind of, all the nutrients were stripped, and he's just really regenerated. Regenerative farming, I think, is what it's called. So yeah, the wagon made it. I used that for the image at the beginning, but I thought the wagon looked pretty neat there. It's in really bad shape, and I don't think I'm going to be able to leave it there because the wood is so rotten. It just looks nice, but it's falling apart. So, 150 acres that Stony Ridge has. How about that? Uh-oh. Dave says we're losing you. You shouldn't, though, but we'll see. So, hey, he's got Starlink, but is that portable? Does that give you the ability to walk? Should I stop walking around? I'll stop for a second. Dave said we're losing you. Tell me what you think. I'm good now because I'm not moving. Do I dare walk back to the woods? You tell me again if I'm losing you. There's the back of the house. I mean, this is really a picturesque property. It really is. Um, this meadow here, I love this open 3-acre meadow. It's rolling. Um, One thing we were impressed by, we've been looking at this property since the fall, really, when we started having our conversations about it. No to the woods, Margaret says. All right, I think it's jittery, so we should stop. But we one thing we were really impressed with is that this property is high and dry. Um, Other properties around here, our property currently, it has areas that hold water in the wintertime. It gets a little muddy here and there. This place was always dry. We would come up here after a big rainstorm and walk back in the woods, and there was no standing water. Now, there are a couple places here where there's standing water after it rains, but it seeps in the ground and goes away, and within 24 hours or so. So I better stay safe over here because this is where I found the 2 bars of signal. So I think I better stay where I was, if you think so. Glad the audio is excellent. Yeah, so what I do want to do is I'm looking at Edward Barker there, who has Starlink with a repeater type thing in the garage. Doesn't work out on the property. Yeah, so I have a son who is an IT person. He's married to also an IT person, and the two of them are IT people. And they bought a little house. Actually, they bought Ann's mom's house when she passed away. It's a little house, and I swear he's got like 8 cameras set up around. He could see every corner of the outside around that house and in the porch and whatnot. But he's good with that stuff. So I'm thinking if we can run a network cable from the house to the barn, and then he can do some kind of outdoor. I mean, obviously you're not going to cover the whole property, but anyway, he's offered to do that kind of stuff, and that could be fun to do. Question about the water in the septic? It's fine. It's all fine. We had those tests done as part of the purchase process, and septic is good because again, there's good drainage here. The well water was great. We had that tested, and even while the guy was on site here, he could do certain tests on site, and he was like, "This is good water." So it's got some hardness to it. It probably needs a water softener, but otherwise, it's good. It's good. And again, the septic is good. It passed. A lot of houses don't pass, especially older homes, but no cesspool. That was upgraded. The owners upgraded it many years ago, but it probably was a cesspool before, but not the case. So Phil's saying, you're getting technical now, Phil. Phil's saying, get a building-to-building beam and throw a mesh network or WAP system in. Worries connection from house to bath. I'm putting one in so we can add cameras to the barn. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that. I'll ask Dave. He'll tell me. Okay, wireless, not worries connection. There you go, wireless connection. Yeah, I'll ask Dave about that because I was going to put a like a router in the barn and have separate Wi-Fi in the barn. And Dave's like, I can make a whole network so that you have one. You don't have to have 2 different networks. So I wanted to name the Wi-Fi network Marlon Barndo. I thought that'd be a fun Wi-Fi network name. Marlon Brando. It'd be Marlon Barndo. So yeah. So that'll be great. I mean, I'm excited to get internet here. Because actually in the house, there's almost no phone service. You have to step out on the porch, and you're trying to Google something, forget watching any YouTube videos. So I'm really excited that we're going to get that here tomorrow. Gigabit. It's like 1,000. Well, a gigabit, I guess, is 1,000 megabytes download, and it's like 100 megabits upload. I mean, they are so stingy with their upload speed. I had the basic. This is Comcast Xfinity. I had the basic internet at the house, and it was like 10 megabits download, 6 megabits upload. Then I had to pay for extended service, which is like up to 400 megabits upload, but still only 20 megabits download or upload. I'm sorry, whatever I said backwards there. It was like 400 down, 20 up. And then this gigabit is going to give us 100 up, which is going to be nice for uploading content. That is going to be, and for live streaming. Maybe we could live stream in 1080 instead of 720. Question from Chris: when do you move in, or have you already? We have not moved in. I mean, we're here all the time, but home is still set up because we're, you know, it's we want to show it as a home, so we're not taking things out of there yet. So we're not going to have to move in here until we have a closing date on the other house. So yeah. So question about septic tanks, and I'm not proficient in this, but Joe's asking what actually is a cesspool compared to a tank in a leach field. From what I understand, Joe, a cesspool is like a tank made of blocks, porous blocks, and basically the cesspool holds the solids and the liquids leach out into the to the ground, but some solids can go with it, I think. But a tank and a leach field, the tank is sealed and it holds the solids and the liquids. It's designed in a way that it's a brilliant design because it's so basic. It's designed in a way where the effluent from the house or whatever comes into the tank, and it comes in like somehow in the middle, so that your solids, when they first come in, they float, and obviously the liquid's down here, so they float, and then there's a dam to keep them from escaping out the side, and then in time they sink, and the only thing that can actually go out the overflow at that point is the liquids. So the liquids are kind of separated, and you get mostly naturally it separates, and you just have kind of water coming out the top because you have microbes and things that are eating the bacteria and basically kind of cleaning it up. So by the time the water gets to the overflow, by the time the liquids get to the overflow, it's mostly water, not drinkable or anything, but it's mostly water, and that goes out to the leach field, and then that just goes into the ground. Meanwhile, the tank is holding all those solids, and I guess they're kind of toxic liquids. But then you get that pumped out, which is why it's important to pump your tank, I don't know, every 5 years or so, because even though the microbes and stuff eat the solids, they break it down, but they can't break it down to nothing. You know, it's like if you had a pile of leaves, it's going to break down to soil, but it's going to have something left. So eventually things kind of fill up in that tank, and you got to pump it out. So it's good to pump it out because you don't want it to get so full where solids or particles start going into your leach field, because then it will clog up your leach field. So, Jack, have a great time. Wait, dinner time with the wife. Have a great time, and I hope your growing family is doing well. Thanks for stopping by, Jack, from the Mindful Homestead. Doing great things over there, that's for sure. So, anyway, thank you. And Lori's talking about seepage pits. Well, seepage pit is different than a cesspool. Thank you. Thank you, Brain. Seepage pit, basically you still have a septic tank, at least the way I've seen them set up. You have a septic tank, and then the septic tank, same concept, the solids stays in, and then the watery liquids, when it turns to water, overflows and goes out, and that goes into a seepage pit. Seepage pit is almost like a leach field, only it's a big tank, and it's got holes in it, and it's got stone all around it. So again, this gray water liquid comes into that seepage pit, and then that seeps out the sides, and that's basically like a leach field or a drain field, but you still have a septic tank in addition to a seepage pit. Now, maybe some places have a seepage pit that acts as a cesspool, and that is not a good thing. So I love some of these things because, like a septic system, I love how basic it is, and to think that people thought of this so many years ago is really neat to me. So and that we're still, I like it when we use technology that really hasn't changed that much. I know that we have more standards for septic tanks, bigger leach fields, certain stone you have to use, but the concept of how it separates everything is kind of fascinating if you don't think about what it actually is, which is disgusting, but that's nature, you know, that's what we are. So yeah, I like that. I was thinking about the other day when I was driving my new truck, 2021. I was thinking about, well, one thing I don't like about my F-150 that I got, it's got the floor mounted shifter, and it's an automatic transmission, but it has that console shifter. I don't like it. I like the column dropping in gear. It's out of the way. I think the console shifter is dumb. I don't see any benefit to it whatsoever. It's just kind of in the way. Like, I like it up on the column, but I was thinking about the blinker and how the blinker is on the side, and how I thought, who thought of that? You need to click it down to go left, click it up to go right. And that's been around since what? The 1920s, the first cars, maybe, when they first started getting blinkers, maybe in the 30s. But whoever thought of that, we still use the exact same design. Nobody said, you know what, let's move the blinker control to the dashboard and have a little knob like we've done with shifters and whatnot. But that stuck. Even the steering wheel, like, who thought, put a wheel on and you turn the wheel left and turn the wheel right? Like, that whole concept has stuck for all this size. But question from BT Handy, what size electric panel in ye old barn? Well, listen, the ye old barn has 200 amp service separated from the house. It's got its own meter there, 200, or no, it's got its own panel there. I mean, sorry, not meter. It's got its own panel, 200 amp service. Ye old house has 150 amp, which is still fine and dandy for an old house. I'm happy with that. I don't think I need more than that in a house, but 200 in the barn. So that was good thinking, Phil and Lucinda, for doing that. And Bob, what size is the barn? We talked about this last live stream, and it's a big barn. I don't remember exactly, but it's like 36 by 48, or in that range. Plus, it has that lean-to off the back, which is like another 20 feet by the whole 40 some feet. But it was laid out and designed for living quarters. The idea was they were going to have their in-laws have in-law suites in the barn. So there's 3 bays across. The right bay was going to be one suite. The left bay was going to be another suite. The middle bay was going to be a shared kitchen and a little parking area. And then the back lean-to was going to be like a living space. So, and it's not a truss system barn. It has a big beam going right down the middle and posts. So it's not open, and it's actually not big enough for my equipment. It just isn't. Like, I can pull into the garage part in the middle, but that is small. And because of the way the walls are laid out, it also brilliantly laid out. They've got radiant floor heat in the concrete, but that prevents you from changing anything. I'm afraid to move a wall or drill anything, but it's got 4 zones of radiant floor heat, which is great. The plumbing is already in place in a lot of places, so I can't move any of the plumbing. So I'm bound to what is there, and it's going to be really a handy barn for a shop. I can't. The left bay is going to be. I think that's going to be my workshop area. Really excited about that. We'll be able to park probably the mule and some of the mowers in here. But as I said last week, I may have to build another pole barn, like a 30 by 30, 30 by 40 pole barn, strictly for equipment. I think that would be ideal, with just a truss system. Doesn't need to have a second story. This barn also has a huge second story. It's beautiful. They have 3/4 inch plywood. They have this massive beam down the middle. It's all open up top. A beautiful set of stairs going up. Don't know what we're going to use that for either. I don't want to junk it up, that's for sure. But it's really, really neat with so much potential. So you can see the opening of it right there. That's one of the bays, and then there's the little garage opening. That little area is actually smaller than the garage I have at the house, but it's very nice. It's very nice. And again, we do want to get. I'm excited that I can at least even put a toilet in my workshop. That'll be fun. Bathroom is very important. It's really important to have a bathroom. And, you know, a lot of guys say, well, you know, the world is your bathroom. Well, that's true for the most part. But there's certain things you want a bathroom for. Right? Right. Yeah, bed and breakfast. I think that was one of their ideas, too. We don't necessarily want to do that. But who knows? Like I said, big things, more big things are on the menu for this summer in the weeks ahead. Big, big things. So it'll be fun, and we're gonna have lots of content. Yeah, cesspool. We're talking talking crap here. You should consider the use of cesspools as obsolete. Limited capacity system like this needed. Yeah, absolutely. You can't have a cesspool. You just can't. Not allowed. So that's again another government regulation that actually is saving us from ourselves, because you don't want that sewage seeping into your well water. You have to have your well so many feet away from your drain field. You know, it's good stuff. So I'm not defending the government here, but there are certain things in place that are really for our own good and for everybody else's own good too. So certain regulations like that, I'm kind of glad for. I'm kind of glad we had to get a well test and make sure the water wasn't, that no sewage was seeping into the well. I'm glad there wasn't any heavy metals in the well. And because face it, if I didn't have to get a well test, I probably wouldn't have. I'd have been like smelling the water like, it seems fine. It tastes good. It's all right. So protecting us from ourselves. And again, you know, it's as we like to say, for the greater good. You know, you want to have healthy drinking water and all that as well. So how did we get onto a septic tank discussion? We had that one time before when we had the new system put in at the house, and that video has done really well. A lot of people have enjoyed watching that. If you haven't seen it, you can go to my channel and search videos. I try to put a tag on my videos now with MCG when I remember to. So if you think of a topic, you can usually go to YouTube and type in MCG. So if you type in MCG septic system, you might come across that video. If you type in MCG grapple, MCG rotary mower, those kind of things, that might bring you to the channel a little easier, a little better. So, boy, it turned out to be nice. Now it was sweltering hot earlier, but now it's cooled off. It's kind of windy, not windy, but nice little breeze here. It feels really good. Ann and Hachi were walking around somewhere. I don't know where they are now. They might be in the house because the air conditioning, window air conditioning. There's no central air in that house, so we've got a window unit in the dining room, and then I put a little window unit all the way up in the attic. It barely fit in the window. I mean, I had to shove it in the window, barely fit, and doesn't do much. So I have another one coming this week that is one of those standalone units that you vent out the window, because you can put a big unit and just a little 6-inch hose going out the window, or 5-inch hose, whatever it is. So I'm going to put that one in the attic and cool off. I don't know how much insulation is in that attic. I have to ask the owners here, the former owners, because when you're touching the walls of the attic space, it's hot. Now I know there's no ridge vents either, so that traps the heat in there. But that attic is still quite hot. So, but yeah, thank you, Lori, for being thrilled for us, and I'm thrilled for you and Joe, and I can't wait to see your house. I heard that John was over there and got to see it, so that is exciting. And yeah, I'm happy for you too. I'm happy for you too. So I'm just going back a few comments. Yeah, Todd says buying the property gives you a good reason to get another tractor. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. But I'm also trying not to have payments on stuff. As you know, we had the truck paid off. You might not know, but I told you before. Had the truck paid off for 1 month and then had the accident, and now we're back into truck payments again. The tractor is still, even though it was 0%, you know, we still owe some payments on that. So I don't like making payments. I don't. Hey, Karen, good to see you. Yes, the open house went really well. Again, about 40 people each day, so a lot of lookers. And again, Sunday was really a rainy, washed out day, and they said as many, if not more, people came on Sunday. So things are happening again, maybe quickly. So, what else is going on with the world? With your world, we this is fun. I'm gonna after this tree gets cut down. I'm waiting for the tree to get cut down. Hopefully Friday. But I wanted to bring the camper back here because there is an RV pad next to the barn, and again, they were so smart with the layout here. The RV pad is like an official RV pad. It's got its own dump station. It's got electric. It's got water. So we're gonna set the RV up back there, and if need be, we could camp out in that. Take a little camping trip right here at home. So I'm excited for that. So I'm going to be pulling the camper back here maybe this weekend if we get that tree taken down on Friday is the plan. And then I'm going to be just creating some content. We've got some overgrown bushes we're going to be taking out. Opportunity to use the tractor for that. I don't think the stump bucket for that because they're so big that I may just be able to hook them with a chain and pull them out. But definitely stay tuned because a lot of content here. Man, I wish I could take you back in that woods because I want to show you those little trails that I made. They're not very deep into the woods yet, but it just gives you such a visual about what could be, what could happen. So, or maybe what once was. There's a trail area behind the barn that we think was an old access road because there was like some mining that went on back there for gravel and or rocks. And there's a flat area that's all grown up now, but we think it was probably an access road to get back there. So we're going to clear that out so we can. There's a big tree laying across it now, so I need to clear a spot there. My goal is to be able to drive the mule back there, even though we want to take walks. I do want to make it big enough to drive the mule, the tractor back there to run the bush hog. So anyway, yeah, Karen, you would like to have a pad, an RV pad at your place for sure. And depending on where your septic system is, you might be able to just tie into it and have your little dump station go right into your septic system. But you have a great barn and great property for that. So anyway, yes, Chris, that is, in fact, there's just a line there that goes to the septic tank, and you can just dump your trailer into the septic tank. So brilliant, right? It's a brilliant design because campers only hold 3-4 days of waste depending on how much you use it. When we dry camp, as it's called, which means you camp without hookups, you're using onboard water, onboard fresh water because you don't have any hose hookup, onboard drainage. You have gray water tank, black water tank, and you're very limited with how much water you can use when you wash your hands. It's just like a little bit of water because you want to make that 30-40 gallons last as long as you can, and we can get sometimes 4 days out of it. And then if you go to a campsite with full hookups, then you have power, water, drainage. But that's fun. We're hoping to camp. We're at least doing the Bluegrass Festival again. That may be the only camping trip since we've got so much going on. But already signed up for the Bluegrass Festival. So if you're in the area, check out the Delaware Valley Bluegrass Festival, and you'll have a great time. And you might spot us there going around collecting electric payments for people, working the festival. That's been my job last year, and it'll be my job again this year. Is there certain you can camp at the festival, first come, first serve, and there are about 40 electrical outlets, no other connections, no sewer or anything like that, but there is electric. First come, first serve, you can get electrical hookup, and it's my job to go around and collect money for that because we have to pay for the electric. So anyway, Delaware Valley Bluegrass Festival, it's a good time. It's a fun time to wrap up summer, and even if you don't love the music, it's fun to watch. It's amazing to watch these entertainers. The skill is just amazing. And what we learned about it is bluegrass is very kind of Celtic. It's very and it's early American music. Like if you are into American history, and it just kind of brings you back. And I just think bluegrass is a music that we should be really proud of. I think nothing really defines America better than bluegrass, because it's like it has some Irish Celtic sounds to it, but then they brought in, some of the Southern uh, music. A lot of music, black music, is part of it, and merged it together. And bluegrass is really its own sound, and it's really fascinating, and it's fun. It's just fun to watch uh, performers. So yeah, Ronnie, it's been like in the 90s here. Right now, I don't know what it is. It might be like 80, 83, but the humidity just dropped. It's really nice right now. But it's been brutal. It's been so brutal and hot here. Brutally hot. Yep. So yeah. So yeah. So this was fun, don't you think? This was good. I don't if you're new to the live streams, I don't generally run these over an hour. So we're coming up on the end here. Normally I do a sticker giveaway. I can't do that tonight. I don't have the dual windows open for doing the giveaway thing. So yeah, I can't do that, but we're still having a good time. Yeah, Rhonda Vincent will be there. Linda was saying, I lost it. There it is. Linda was saying Rhonda Vincent will be back. She was there a couple years ago, and man, she is an incredible entertainer. Look up some of these people on YouTube, and you just see their talent. Uh, so Rhonda Vincent's a good one. Very good. Was the big news a no sticker giveaway? Yeah. I mentioned that at the beginning, didn't I? We weren't doing a sticker giveaway. If I didn't mention that, I'm sorry if you hung around waiting for that, but I can't do it. So, besides, Margaret, you already won your sticker. Sorry for leaving that up so long. But yeah, so I think I've announced what I'm going to announce. It's actually getting a little windy. I wonder if it's going to rain some. We had quite a bit of rain yesterday, but again, the ground just soaked it right up. So, indeed. I'll tell you, we've been working so much on cleaning out the house, moving things up here. We are both beat. I am so tired. I had to go to work this morning. I told Ann, I said, I just would like a day of nothing. I could just do nothing at all. I know that day's coming, but man, it's a lot of work. It's a lot. So smoke here, we've seen on and off. Haven't really noticed too much yet, but those Canadians sending some smoke down again. And Woodster, have you mowed the new place yet? Yes, we did. Of course, we did the meadow even before we owned it. So that's on a video. But then this weekend, we mowed just the general property. And they had been getting a lawn service to mow it. So it always looked nice and maintained. It makes you feel like, well, this looks easy to maintain because it's always nice. And then 2 weeks go by and it was all overgrown and we had to mow it. And it's like, this is a lot of work, a lot of mowing around stuff. And there's like rocks in the garden that Ann discovered with the mower blades. And there's some hills that are tough. So yeah, we mowed, but it's a lot. And plus still mowing the other place with almost 4 acres is a lot too. But yep, we have mowed, and you got to mow like every couple weeks. But boy, the lawn service did a nice job. I never saw them here. I would just come one day and everything was mowed, and I'm like, darn, I want to watch them do it. I want to see what they're using. I guess they have a zero turn, but they must have been weed whacking too, because it was always nice. So, but we like doing that stuff. Ann loves the lawnmower. Yeah, hopefully I can track them down. I think they're in the house. I thought maybe they'd go walking by, which would be fun, but I think they're in the house. So we will see. But anyway, so next week I should have internet here. Now I might be back at the old studio next week. But if I have internet here, maybe we'll do something in the house or whatnot. But there's no furniture in there yet. There's no desk set up. So I don't know. But yeah, Bob's saying get a zero turn. That's what everybody has. That's what everybody loves. I'd like to see them used on a little more rough terrain and see how they work, for sure. But it seems to me like they're probably better. And wanted a traditional lawn tractor with a steering wheel. We got that Simplicity lawnmower. It was like $5,000, which I guess is not uncommon today. U.S. made, hydrostatic, power steering, lawn tractor. We are not impressed by it. I'm sorry, Simplicity. It's a heavy duty, pretty well made mower, but I think it's made for flat lawns. And, we use them like tractors sometimes, basically a little more rough terrain. But I wish I was more thrilled with it. I'm not. It's a nice machine, but rattles and squeaks, and it went through a belt already. It threw the belt on the drive line a couple weeks ago, and um, unfortunately, not terribly impressed by it. So again, American-made simplicity. It seems good, and it's good. I'm just not as impressed as I'd like to be. That's all I got to say about that. Is I'm not as impressed as I would like to be. So phone call. Sorry, I was getting a phone call there that I could not answer, obviously. So, yep. Okay. So I think my camera just got like zoomed in on me or something when I got that phone call. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, we are wrapped up for tonight. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope that you'll join me next week. Remember, August 7th, our plan is to have Robbie Wolf here from American Pickers, and that is going to be a fun time. So I'm excited about that. I hope you have a great week. It's a Monday night. I hope you can stay cool and stay out of this sweltering heat. But anyway, hang in there. Stay tuned to the channel. Thanks so much for watching. I really am glad you're here. I really appreciate every one of you for tuning in now and watching the videos as they come out. We're going to be doing more content soon, I promise, when I get a little more time. But for now, I'm glad to see you here on the live stream. So thanks so much. Have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next time.